Because if the end goal is to keep the hairs locked up, locking up in, and the new baby vellus hairs to grow into that lock, well, there's many ways to do that. Some of them I wouldn't recommend for certain hair types, and some of them I would. So if you don't know, my name is Shane Fell, and this is where we talk about hair. I've been studying hair since 2006, and I first started wearing locks on my head and studying locks back in '99. So you can imagine I might have a little info for you. If there's anything I want you guys to understand, it's that through lock maintenance, our main goal is to keep the hairs that are growing in the lock as the hairs hit the telogen phase and fall out of the root falls out. We want that hair wound up into the lock. And so you can utilize a comb to comb that up in, you can be pushing your fingers in there, you can utilize a crochet hook to tie it in, you can do twist and lock and twist the hair around it and keep it in a thing for a while until, you know, if we're losing 40 to 70 hairs a day, then you're running something like every couple of weeks, you could go through and push all the hairs into the thing and utilize a comb and comb everything up. Eventually you're gonna comb the hairs up that fell out, and you're gonna create a nice little base for a lock. That's gonna happen that way. You can also utilize a latch hook and start pulling the things in. You can push the hairs into the middle and root rub and get a thing going. You can be a little more aggressive with your palm rolling. There's certain things that are gonna work out really well for some people and not work out really well for others. If there's anything on this channel I wanna do is give you an array of tools for your toolbox. And inside of that toolbox, you can utilize whatever you'd like to do and whatever works for you in your routine. See, the thing is like, people driving home don't generally like go somewhere out of the way to go to the gas station. They're gonna pop on the one that's probably on the closest side on their way home. It's not gonna be across town. It's gonna be inside of your routine. And so neither is something that's like way outside of your routine, you're gonna just start adding it in. No, it's like slowly trying different things and seeing what works for you. Now, I wouldn't generally say, hey, go palm roll your hair right after you get everything tight. Hell no, please don't. It's too aggressive. Palm rolling's for like, yeah, it's for your beginner baby locks, but like, maybe not right after everything's tight so you're breaking stuff, because it's pretty aggressive, right? And so like gauge a little bit. The point is to gauge a little bit of what it is that you're doing and when and how the approach is. Because if the end goal is to keep the hairs locked up, locking up in, and the new baby vellus hairs to grow into that lock, well, there's many ways to do that. Some of them I wouldn't recommend for certain hair types, and some of them I would. Now, I want to give you all of the tools, and I'm hoping that you guys can kind of gauge from your standpoint what's gonna work for you in your journey. If your hair is really fragile, maybe don't palm roll dry vigorously. Maybe only utilize your damp hair to do like squishings and movings and like getting it where you want, and like a pressurized palm roll more so than your like really vigorous dry palm rolls. These are the little things that I'm hoping that you guys can gauge on the other side of the screen, but at the same time, I want to convey it that like our main goal is to maintain these locks that have now been woven into a fabric, whether you have done it with twist and lock and it started to weave itself into the fabric and start to do its thing, or you've done it with a crochet hook, but there's so many ways. All of the things I'm telling you is like little things that might spark a thing for you to want to add in somewhere inside of your routine. And if it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. Anyways, babes, I hope that some of this stuff conveys to you what the end goal is of our maintenance. And so like when I'm suggesting things for you, that you can be like yes or no to that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good or bad thing. I'm probably never gonna recommend that somebody does interlocking. I talk about latch hooking, I'm talking about pulling the loose hairs into the middle of the lock and kind of root rubbing that in there. And that's kind of stuff that's like really vigorous at the root of your lock that I would never recommend for somebody to do that's done twist and lock, or that's doing twist and lock, or that's doing crochet work. That's generally more like you're at home doing some freeform and you kind of want to take care of them a little bit better. That's where I hope that your gauge comes in for your own journey. And I think that that's happening. And every once in a while, I will have to like go through a message or two with somebody. So I think I might pin this at the top so that people can kind of like go over this really quick and understand that what I'm offering you is suggestions for you to throw in your toolbox and gauge if you like to have it inside of your routine or not. Elsewise, beyond that, please, people, have a beautiful time with your locks, and happy locking, folks. So if you're anything like me, you might have just liked this video in your head, so go back and hit that button that helps support the channel, please. Okay, happy locking, peeps.